Thank you. No. Oh, how I want more. Whoa. No, shikate, ana ichika, o dio shikate, that shikate. Haven't gotten live in nighttime in a long time. Hi, it's Morningstar. If you've never watched me, I usually come on during the day. So, welcome. Got some incoming stuff. I'm going to go and set protocols. Archangels of love and light, who is willing to cleanse our auric fields, tapping into God's first energy in the great I am. Diving deep into Middle Mother Gaia Earth. And feel the energy rising back up. And into the great I am. Wow, I fought this one for a little bit. I was sitting out by the fire. I'm turning this down a little bit. Don't own the rights to this music. But it helps me to hear it, even if you don't. Anyway, Peter Cater. So, got some stuff to talk about tonight. First of all, let's take a couple of deep breaths in. This is probably going to be more for me right now. And then still settling into the energy. Grandmother. I work with Grandmother and the Tribal Council. If you've never seen me before, my name is Morningstar. Archangel Michael over in this corner. Feeling a presence behind me. Okay, the Arcturians. All right, behind me. One Arcturian in particular. Okay, so tonight, I want to touch base on some stuff. I'm not used to going. It doesn't matter. So take some deep breaths in with me as I also breathe in. Open up our causal chakras. Open up heart chakra. And on down. So I don't know if you caught my last live in particular. And since we're just chatting, got a hot tea, got my smokes, got my sage, incense burning candle. Man, the laughter, the just the flow, and a lot of different ones were commenting about, really love your energy, right? And it was like, it's like, y'all don't understand. It's standing under the waterfall. And when that river flows over, what happens? It's like a bubbling brook. It's like the Niagara Falls, and it brings healing light, healing love, restores everything. So we were sitting by the fire just a few minutes ago, within this evening. And so I was thinking about some different things. I'm going to go there first. So, things happen in our life. And when we're, clearing out the catchphrase of doing our shadow work, right? We're clearing out our shadow work. Yes. What is that? Let's go back to some basics. What is that? Karmic debt. A lot of what I experienced in this 3D skin was learning and having, and this is a key thing in doing shadow work, and I'm not probably going to tell any of you anything that you already don't know, but this is what was the incoming tonight. This is what I was getting tonight from my team, from my guys. I don't light a cigarette. We're just chit-chatting. So grandmother wants me to start out with this phraseology first. Okay, lots of times in life, if you are a swimmer, and maybe, if you're a long distance swimmer, yeah, that's what your head's down and you're swimming, right? You're swimming and you're going against the tide and you're going, you're swimming the currents, right? Well, in Abraham's thing, going upriver, upstream is a struggle, right? But going down the river is a letting go process. A letting go process. A letting go process. It's a letting go process. And it allows that waterfall to carry you, right? Growing up, and this isn't going to be a high energy, and I'm not going to go to either, but it's something that needs to be said. And if it's only for me, then so be it. Hopefully, it doesn't matter. So when you grow up in a circumstance that you're not getting the kudos, you're not getting a lot of us in life, and, God, when we were growing up in the 60s and 70s, you didn't talk about your home life. It's like you might have been up all night with an alcoholic, abusive father or whoever, and you still arrived at school having to function and learning to function. Do I have to go there? For whatever reason, spiritually, I have to release a little bit of this tonight. So anyway, one time I got slapped so hard by my dad. I got flung back across the room, hit my sister's trophies, they got broken. And I went to school the next day and his handprint was still on my face of when I got slapped. My dad he was a plumbing contractor, and he had meaty kind of strong hands. He'd come over, and even when he'd give you like a little like love it kid thing, it was like, oh my God, you were dying, right? I was just like, oh my God, it was painful. So anyway, help. So in doing the shadow work and delving into that process, for me, a lot of it was having to go back and open up doors that I didn't really want to go back through. I thought those doors were good and shut, locked, bolted, bricked, concrete, dug, buried, right? But I did. And that was the healing process of having to go back through those doors. And in that healing process, sometimes it would be visually having to literally go back into a scene that they wanted to heal me from, that they wanted to heal me from, to rewrite it, to make something different happen. And, you know, i.e. in particular, one time it was, I'm not going to go into the very blah, 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 but I was like 5 years old, very traumatic experience. And I was like stuck in time in that experience. I was stuck. There was an aspect of me, that's something that took place in my childhood, that was stuck in me. I was frozen in time. Frozen in time in that scene, in that episode. And this one in particular day, they took me to the room. I was already crying. I was shaking. Everything within me was like, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to go back there. 5 years old, you don't have control. Nothing. Maybe run and hide, right? You know. But what I want to tell you of what they did was that this glorious throne came down into the room, and Yahshua himself was seated, and he said, "Come here." So I went over and got on his lap, and he breathed me up out of the room. It all sealed shut. Probably a few years ago, before that experience, I don't think I could have actually even talked about that event without losing my shit, right? But I said it to let you know that the things that we experience gets frozen in time. And that's the shadow work, an aspect of it, that when we journal, we might be we get triggered. We're getting triggered. We don't understand why. I thought I worked on this. I thought this or this or this. And then it's like being a master detective of your own entity, your own. And that's why this is going to be more of an outline. That is why journaling is so important. It's so important because, first of all, when you write it, you've got all of this turmoil down here, right? And your thoughts are going, and all this turmoil. When you write it onto paper, there's a release to the paper. And then I'll do a ceremony, take it out to a fire, burn it, whatever. You know, I'll raise it back up to the sky. I release it back up to them. If I'm really in it's like tear it up into the tiniest little pieces I can, crumble it on my hand and put it on the fire, right? You know, and you're like, yeah, burn that bitch up, right? And in the exact flip of that, in wanting to manifest things in your life, you take the same pen and paper. It's all energy. It's an energetic release. The shadow work and the blessing work. I want to be on TV someday. I want all my bills paid. I want to win the Powerball. I want to buy that car that I've always wanted to buy since I was like 16 and I saw it driving down the road. Your hopes, your wildest dreams, the things that it could be anything. It doesn't have to be a physical thing either. It could be in service. It could be you want to build schools. You want to go to third world countries and clean water. It does not matter what it is. It's all energy. But the process of healing is the same thing. That journaling is very, 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 very key to your health and to your healing. It really, really is. Plus all the other things that we have, right? Our crystals, our sage, the wonderful, beautiful things that we have and take place in our life, and the wonderful things that come. Okay, so now they want me to switch up. So when a swimmer, if you're a swimmer and that's what you do, cool, awesome, yay. I'm not downing or dissing swimmers. I love to swim. But in swimming upstream, it's hard. And I was out by the fire and I was thinking, there were aspects of time in my life that I felt like I was swimming and it wasn't even safe. Like you raise your head up quick to catch a breath and then back down again, right? And then there were other periods of time in my life where I would come up with my head out of the water and take a look around and it was almost like like I was like testing, like, is it safe for me to come out yet? Is it safe for me and my spirit? Is it safe for me to come out of that water yet? And sometimes it'd be like, no, hell no. And I'd go back down under the water again. It was like part of the birthing process of my energy. And I don't know, maybe this is not relating, maybe none of you can relate to that, and that's okay. But for whatever reason, I felt inclined to come on and share this. Everything is vibration. Everything is energy. And when you open up those doors and you go through rooms and you clear out the rooms, don't stay there. I have noticed that some of us in the journey, we are all on our paths. We are all on different aspects of our journeys. Yes, don't stay there. Don't stay there. Don't stay there. Sometimes just tap into spirit. You'll know the energy is cleared. A peace will come over your heart, your spirit, and you'll know the work is finished and it's okay and it's complete and it's shut. I don't even know I had to say all that stuff. There's so many great things coming, and especially like with the gateway yesterday. Man, that was awesome. That was really, 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 really awesome. And I think one thing in working with energy and even with catching any energy, like you might have like even this morning, I personally woke up with like a funky ass dream thing. And it was almost like, I'm looking around like, what the fuck is going, what? And it kind of felt, right? And like yesterday, it was like, man, the last couple of days, it's just like being in my bliss, holding that vibrational energy of just, oh my God, just God. Life is good. Life is great. It's wonderful. Some of you that might be really easy for you to transition into that, but not for me. Not for me. It wasn't. Most of my life, it wasn't. Did I have periodic days where it was like, yeah, it was like bouncing, but it seemed like at times, life would come and, and I was, was even to the point where, God, I really don't want to go down too many straggly paths of, where you feel like you're going along good, and all of a sudden you feel like someone's just come along and swiped your legs out, and it's kind of like, shit, right? You've done so much work, and then for someone to just what? Okay, now this is why I had to say that. Some of you out there need to physically speak to different ones in your life and tell them to fuck off. You need to stand your ground, and you need to tell that parent or that husband or that wife or that child or whoever the fuck it is in your life that is dissing you, continues to tear you down, continues to attack you and annihilate you. The day has come You tell them to fuck off and you stand. You come back into your strength and you take the reins back of your life. You do it. Do yourself a favor. There were key points in my journey of being a fractured, so broken child entity. My natural childlike, I would want to run in the yard and play in the sun. But because of the life experiences and because of being so beaten down and so, right? The day came that I would have to stand, and I stood and I told my dad to fuck off. I've had enough. I had to make my stand to different ones in my family. Fuck you. Fuck you. I didn't, I could go on and say, but the day came many times in my life, I had to take back my ground. The spirit, the unction of power, of like, even you could call it wasn't necessarily even a rage, but it was an authority that I was no longer going to do or say or take one more bit of any of it. And I stood up for myself. And some of you are still listening to those voices. Some of you are still allowing people in your lives that are hurting you. They're harming you. Their sole key purpose in their life is to do you harm. Wake up. Stand your ground. Love yourself enough to take it back. Take your life back. Take it back. Take it back. Sometimes it's baby steps of taking your authority and your life back. And some of you are going to light the bitchin' city on fire with taking your power and your authority back, because there are champions out there that have been there. You're getting beat up and the time's got to stop now. There are lions that are out there that are being birthed. You went through the fires. That gold coming up, the fire has to get really hot for that refined gold to come up to the surface. And then what happens? We get Joan of Arc's spirits. We get a flame coming up within us so strong that I swear we could just take the nations. And that's what we're doing as light workers. We're going after it all. We're going after it all. Now, going after it all and standing your ground could be putting a smile on a face that has frowned for too long. Looking in a mirror when you have not been able to look in a mirror and look at your own eyes and to see love pouring back to you in your reflection. That takes a lion's heart. That takes a Joan of Arc. Yes, sorry. Spirit to reclaim who you are, to light the fire again, 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 and again, and again, and again, again. Your dial, if you were here, I'm sorry, it doesn't really matter aside. You can come from here, right? We all can. And I can only speak from my own life experiences. I can only speak from the ground that I personally have had to claim back from my childhood and, all the other stuff. Now, granted, you could say, you're clearing out timelines. Of course, you're clearing out, yeah. But to help you, if I can be in any way help you with my 3D life experience that I went through, make a stand. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for others. Be kind. Don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to be seen by anybody or anyone, including yourself. So I'm going to light some sage. Thank you. That was a bit of a strong message. It felt like it needed to be said. And maybe I just needed to hear it. Every time. Every time. Kas for synergy? Archangel. There we go. Man, see how quickly I just went from Oh, yeah. That feels really, really good. Yeah. So thank you. Blessings to you all. I love you so much. I love you so much. God. I love you. Be blessed. Be healed. Be whole. Become full you. There we go. And grandmother says, and so it is. Thank you. Morningstar. Peace out.